Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to another edition of Living World of Darkness, Werewolf Venue. Tonight sees two gentlemen sitting down to break bread and talk about grievances. Alan Stewart and Vale Bacas. Vale took offense to something that Alan said and was quite vocal about it. But after some thought and some time, and after cooling off for a few days, he decided that honestly, it was probably better if he just sat down to a simple meal with Alan and just talked to him. Just very simply try to handle it in a more gentler approach. And so he has invited Alan to the restaurant Abao in Hell's Kitchen, where he has actually taken Dr. Mega before and a couple of his friends from time to time. He's requested the private upstairs dining room, and he simply waits for Alan to arrive, standing outside, smoking a clove, wearing his work clothes as he's come from work.
Mhm.
And that's where we'll begin our scene.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. Alan will go ahead and approach the restaurant from the sept, having left the cardboard palace only a few minutes ago, and he makes his way to the address provided to him over the text.
Mm-hmm. So he will see a veil waiting outside for him.
Evening.
Alan. He'll open the door for him
Thank you.
and go inside with him. The host will bow to them very politely and say, Mr. Bacas, please, right this way. Lead him upstairs to a nicely set table for two. Vale will motion to Alan, say, please, sit down himself.
Oh, thank you.
Dinner's on me tonight. Just don't worry about the bill. Get what you want.
Oh, dinner may
Have
be
a
on
drink.
you, but I guarantee you the drinks are on me, my good sir. I've
Fair enough.
had the pleasure to experience some rather interesting tastes this week, and I want to go ahead and pass on the savings to you.
So, I'm actually going to cut right to the chase so that we can move on from it.
Mm-hmm.
You're aware of the fact that I'm aware of what you said about my cousin. In looking over.
No,
Oh, you're not? Oh, I didn't know you didn't know about that.
I thought this conversation was about what happened a few days ago with Katori and Cinna, actually.
He smiles so large. Oh, you see, Alan, you called my kinfolk a prize. I know that your intention wasn't to objectify her or to cast her into the category of an item. I know that. And I know that you, oh, bless your heart, you really do have the best of intentions, even though your mouth can sometimes get a little ahead of you. So I know that there was no ill meaning towards your words. It took me a couple of days to roll it around in my head and figure it out, but hey. But you see, the problem is that although I know it now, at the time when I was told this, I was already fairly upset. And your words were one that, although I understand that you meant no ill will towards it, and you weren't trying to be insulting, they're words that are used by those that would insult us and degrade us and demean us. And so when we hear them, pretty much regardless of who's speaking, our immediate reaction is usually contempt. And I
Mm.
know that wasn't your intention. I know it wasn't. So I'm not going to threaten you or put my fist at the back of your throat or even tell you that anything unbecoming or just I'm going to tell you this. Be careful what you say around kinfolk because although you probably don't realize that you laid down a grave insult, you offended myself, you offended Xavier, who in hearing it frenzied on Travis and almost took a chunk out of his side. And you've offended, more importantly, my cousin, the kinfolk in question. And it's an offense that we can let go. Honestly, as I said, you didn't mean any ill by it. But just be mindful, please, of what you say. All right?
Understood. I do apologize if any of my words did offend you, and I do apologize that the kinfolk heard me using such derogatory terms. Language, more often than not, is the oppressive element in many, many cultures. He's looking at you rather interestedly and pretty much shocked as he goes ahead and says and continues his words, saying, "You don't believe that I objectify kinfolk, do you?"
I believe that the words that you spoke are those that are spoken by people who objectify kinfolk. And so, even if you do or don't, people who don't know you are going to assume you do. I know that you don't, but I know you. Xavier knows you, but we were already angry. A perfect storm of complications. You you pushed my buttons the other day in a way I can't even really explain. It was just a mixture of just the wrong time, the wrong place, the wrong people, and the wrong things said. And you were the last one in that. You know how they always say that if you're running from a bear with a group of people, you don't need to be faster than the bear, you need to be faster than the people you're with.
Mm-hmm.
You were the slowest one. And so although what Kachina said offended me, although he genuinely did not mean to, and I understand that. It's why I've been quiet about it. And although what Katori said, it didn't so much offend me as it was just sort of, it's a dark, sticky matter that no one needs to go to. You were the last person to push the buttons. And so therefore, when I walked away from that situation, when it was alerted to me that you had also said that about my cousin, it it was just a match to the fuse. But I do respect you, and we share people that we love. I love Leah very much. She is going to be my sister-in-law. She's family's. You
Some
are
would
her.
say that you are already family.
Yes, she is. She's kin to my people. You're her uh, her boyfriend. You're her chosen. I respect that. That's why I chose to sit down with you and talk instead of taking the lower route. But where you angered me during that altercation is you turned to Cinna after Katori and I had faced off and said to her, essentially without Garu being there, what could have happened when I had stood my own. I don't believe Kotori was going to attack me. And I believe it was in part because I know how to face a Garu who is in that state. I know how to protect myself from them. To be honest, Alan, had he charged at me, I would have simply stepped into the shadow.
Very well. Let me claim ignorance about your experience with Garu and Rage and how long you have been within the nation and how long you have had to deal with tempers flaring. I do apologize for not recognizing this.
I understand. And I understand that there are some in the nation who. I have seen some young kinfolk who did not have the benefit as I did to have been born to this and raised in it, to think that they're Billy badasses, frankly. And then they see their first frenzy in Garu, and they spend the evening washing the piss from their legs. I had I had Xavier on the walk home after he had frenzied on Travis turn to me and mentioned that as he had heard it, I didn't even flinch when he had lost his cool. And I think I've had it. I don't know. I've noticed that when your kind lose their cool, they tend to target their their anger. And if you're not the target of that anger, it's quite easy to avoid.
That more often than not, that is the truth. More often than not, the rage will take you to attack the target that is harassing you. But in my short time in the Sept, I've also seen that airing your I'm well, do you know what a pack is?
Of course I do.
hmm Do you know the kind of bond that pack mates have?
I understand the description. I've never used it, but I've understood how it's described.
Very well. In this sept, I have seen Rage and Frenzy take one of my pack mates. Not them succumbing to it, but them being the victim of it and them dying quite brutally in front. Not even in front of me, but behind me because I was not there. They had literally walked 10 minutes away from me when it happened. So in this sept in particular, I have a particular sensitivity to rage, to frenzy. So when I see somebody on the verge of it, I am compelled to act. I am sorry if I offended you by not realizing your experience with Angry Garu.
I accept your apology and I offer my own. I'm sorry that I didn't simply ask you at the time or bring it to you sooner.
At that time, you were angry yourself. So I understand.
Did you know that my uncle is of your tribe?
The Children of Gaia and the Black Furies do have a long history of working together, yes. But I did
Mm-hmm.
not know that
He's
your
an elder.
uncle was them.
Mm-hmm. My uncle married my and he's lupus too. My uncle married my father's sister, my Aunt Athena, my Thea. His name, I've heard there's another in the sept with his name, but he's lupus. His name is Bright Eyes. His Garu name is uh, Impractical Joker. He's a Kagabash.
Tell me about him then.
It's Amara's father. Him. Oh, my uncle is, well, this is the thing that really, really sets people to just, oh, it's so funny when they find out. Um, so he's a lupus, and he spends most of his time in lupus. He's kind of like the Arthur Weasley of Garu. He's fascinated with human things, and he's learned how to play the guitar, and he's learned languages, he's learned to cook. That's what got him and my aunt together. He wanted to learn how to cook, and she was a fantastic cook. And he just absorbs more and more human things while still very strongly staying to the wolf. He's almost always in his lupus form. Makes it matter. But very rare once in a while when he takes his human form. Most people would not know that they're standing in front of a Garu, much less a child of Gaia, because he's Mexican. he is a he is a Mexican gentleman. And especially an elder. He's gone to other steps and as an elder, as a visiting dignitary, and he's taken his human form, and people have been like, hey, boy, and he's like, hey, boy, hey, boy, yay, I'm an elder. But
I bet that's
he's an
always a
alpha.
surprise.
Oh, it is. He's an alpha of his step. I heard Amara told me that the first time she dropped Spanish, she went off on a string of words that I can't repeat, for God will strike me down, but she went off on a string of words that in Spanish, so Xavier didn't understand what she was saying. And she's a half Latin little girl, and he didn't know she spoke Spanish, and she was like, "Why do you speak Spanish?" Like, my dad's Mexican. He was like, "Wait, what?"
Do you speak the language? Alan says in English, and he says, uh, he mimics in Spanish.
Oh God, no! I know enough of Spanish to just get me in trouble. My cousins, oh, they fuck with me for it too. My dad knows Greek, and like my family knows Greek, and like my uncle knows Spanish, and like all his kids know Spanish. But and like my cousins will mess with me too. Like I have two twin cousins, Dimitri and Damien, and they will. Oh
You
God,
sort
will
of
they fuck with
see
me?
that Alan's just sitting at the table, just absorbing all of this. And if the waiter comes by, he goes ahead and taps the wine menu, like that one right there, and just lets you continue on your story.
Yeah, he'll say, yeah, no, my, I have two cousins. They're Amara's older twin brothers, and they are, oh wow, they should have been born Ragabash. They're just kidding, but they, yeah, there's something else. But they mess with me in Spanish. They'll just start talking Spanish like right in front of me, and I'm like, dudes, I don't understand you. Like, I don't get you.
It it seems as if they are loved.
They are very loved. Our family is loved. We are only 8, but my aunt's pregnant, so there'll be another one, and hopefully her last, because 42 is kind of old. And whatever. That's the way it is. He'll sip his wine. More bacas. Yay, opa.
Let me ask you this
And then I have
question.
Callie. Huh, what?
This this new baby that's coming into the world, what do you want for it? What kind of world do you want for this? What kind of nation do you want for it?
Okay, you want to know my opinion on the nation? Like the nation.
Hmm.
If they don't stop fighting each other and start fighting, the threat, like the worm, there's not gonna be a nation to fight for. Like, I've seen so much petty infight, bickering, tearing each other apart, useless, senseless death. Like back in the day, back when I was younger, even actually, when I was a young person, I remember that if two Garu were fighting or they had an issue with each other, there was none of this staying at the set, bull crap. No, they threw you into like atrocity and told you like hold hands and get out alive. And then you learned to get along. Like, there was none of this. Oh, no, no. It was you band together, or we're going to throw you at the biggest, largest threat we can until you get along, or it takes care of you for us. But there's none of that anymore. I mean, this bull crap of like patina and like just stuff and just this and that and the fighting and who's this and who's there, and it's like, what direction do you have? What are you serving? What are you doing? Who are you fighting? I heard this Garu one time talking. He was a guest at the set. He'd come for there was a gathering mood, and there was like kinfolk there, and there was family there, and all that stuff. And there
Hmm.
was this elder who had come. He was I think Silverfang, I don't remember what his name was though. It was a little wee thing. But one of the things that I took away from it is he was asking why more people, why Garu. So he was saying like, you know how like spirals will come and like take people and drag them to the spiral and like, there you go, new spirals. You know what I mean?
Um, I'm aware of it.
Well, he was asking why we don't, instead of killing spirals, take them to Erebus. What his logic was is he was saying that if we kill spirals, you know what I mean, and we destroy them, then you're killing someone. It's destruction. You're destroying the flesh, possibly the spirit, the body. We don't totally know where we go when we die. And does that kind of not only serve the worm? So he was saying that why don't people take black spiral dancers just like they take us to Erebus? Or like, I think there's like some rite that'll send people to Erebus, but I don't know that much. That's going way over my head. But like, he was saying why not? And people were like, well, because it would take too much resources, it would take too much this, it would take too much that, blah 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 blah. And he was like, well, the spirals find enough time to drag us to the black spiral. They find enough time to, to take us. Why don't we take them to Erebus? And then one person was like, well, you have to be repentant to do Erebus. You have to, all this stuff. He's like, no. To get into Erebus, no, you don't. You just have to be tainted. That's it. Once you are in the Silver Rivers, until you are cleansed, you don't come out. And they were basically like, well, what if they're so worm tainted that they never come out? And he's like, well, at least they're in the Silver Rivers and not running around a threat. He had a brilliant plan, a brilliant idea. This is something that has to be set to do.
Was his words listened to?
No.
Why were they not?
I don't know. I was only like 7 at the time.
Mm-hmm.
But it was a good idea. I think it's a good idea, don't you?
It's a deal that requires a lot more wisdom than I have at the moment. I do not profess to know all the machinations of the Silver Lakes nor of the spirals, but there are tales. There are certainly tales of Child of Gaia's bringing in repentant spirals and remaking their psyche to one of more Gaian ideals.
See, and that's the problem. Garu could be doing stuff like that. They could be trying to redeem. All they're doing is destroying and destroying and destroying.
Mm-hmm.
They're fighting. It's, combat the worm wherever it dwells and whenever it breeds, and I get that. Do you know what I mean? Like, I understand that that's something that has to happen. But combat has come to mean, combat, like fight. Like, get your tooth and claws in there and kill. But that's not the only way to so there's so much destruction, but there's really no growth. So you ask me, what do I want to see for this baby in this world? I want to see enlightenment. I want to see the Garu stop being their own worst enemies. And I think that it's in part, and I'm going to put this on the table, he'll rap the table with his knuckles, I think it's in part the kinfolk's fault as well.
Okay. You say for this child you want enlightenment for the nation. You want a philosophical revolution. How do you profess that we should reach that goal?
The stargazers have been at this one for a while. You know what I mean? He's like, your tribe and the stargazers. God bless him. He'll actually raise his wine glass to him to salute the children of Gaia and stargazers on that one.
We didn't leave.
That's true.
That's the difference.
That is true. Very true. But, I mean, people have been trying to find that enlightenment. I think it's going to have to come in the Garu remembering what they're fighting for. Do you know what I mean? And not just for Gaia, but they need to remember what Gaia is, other than just terra firma. Gaia is love and light, and family, and growth, and words that I can't even express because they go beyond the realm of words. It's the heart. Touch his chest. Here. And I think that there's been a disconnection in the nation with with uh with fighting for that. It's just become about the with some I've seen. I think what the problem is it's become about the renown. It's become about the how big and bad can I become? I'm this great beast, and how strong and powerful, and how much can I wave over everybody else. So I think
Mm,
that's one of the problems. With others, I think it's that they're fucking lost. There's no direction whatsoever. So they
I
hear
can
about this great, huge end time war coming, like you said. Everybody's got a fucking end time. But it's like, okay, so here's this great end time. Now what do we do? Okay, well we don't know what to do. Now let's just turn on each other.
Well, maybe I can speak to a few points of that. Yes, there are some Garu
Mm-hmm.
that are vainglorious, some that are reaching for higher and higher positions of rank, prestige, or glory, recognition from the spirits. There are those Garu. There are also groups of Garu tribes that look upon Gaia, its sacred places, the last few Karens that are pure, and want to hoard it for themselves because they see every single day less and less of Gaia's blessings bleeding through. And then, of course, there are the doomsayers, the panickers, the one that says that these are the end days, and the all the Garu that have been born have been born. And for me, at least, it's a very attractive idea because that means that someday
Yeah.
all this is going to end. But it's not really a constructive idea for the rest of the nation to continue on our fight.
Yeah, exactly.
Let me ask you this.
Okay.
Let's go ahead and narrow our scope just a tiny bit. We've been talking in theoreticals, we've been talking about the nation globally. Let's talk about something more practical. For this sept, for the
Okay.
sept of the green,
Mm-hmm.
what would you want for that child?
Well, actually, I actually think that this sept is pretty squared up. I think that there's a couple of little things that could change, and I mean they're literally like so minor. Like I don't even really know how to like over a casual dinner like bring them up. Um,
Well, maybe over a few dinners we can try to work this out. I've been tasked by one of my Raya actually to gather the opinions and the needs and the wants of the kinfolk of the sept. He's asked me to go around, make a little poll, find out what people actually want or need or think is missing from the sept, and present it to him.
well, I can tell you there's one thing that I've been considering, and actually it's funny you should bring that up. I was talking to Xavier earlier. Was it last night? It was last night,
Mhm.
and he's of the opinion, as am I, that there needs to be a an official kinfolk relations liaison, as it were, and not just in this set. This would be like this would be something that would take a while to organize and to form. But there needs to be a kinfolk, and it needs to be specifically a kinfolk, not a garu, that is that is concerned with and the person you go to involving kinfolk relations in the set, and is making sure that the kinfolk have everything that they need. That if any quarrels arise between kinfolk and their garu, that there's somebody to mediate, to go between, that the kinfolk of the sept are being checked in on, making sure that everything's okay, that, I mean, that their utility is kept in mind so that if there's an emergency should arise in the sept, then they know how to organize, what to do to help. If the Karen were attacked right now, God forbid, or something were to affect, let's say, for instance, that there's a disease. Let's just throw out a disease that's Garu based, and it affects like everybody in the sept. It means all the kinfolk are going to have to, come forward and handle that. Who's going to lead them? What's going to happen? Where's the organization? Who's the who's the I was telling you, Xavier, earlier, the Garu have a very big boon in that you have your auspices and your ranks. and it makes a very neat, clear package for you guys to just know, okay, this is my chain of command, this is what I do, this is who I am, you know? But we don't have that benefit. But I was thinking if there was a person in the sept who could be that kinfolk liaison, basically, that the kinfolk guru, I guess. I don't know. That's not the term, but I'm just taking it casual for a second.
A
Then
kinfolk liaison does sound like a good name.
that does sound like a
With
good
this
name. But
li-
if there was
liaison,
somebody like that, mhm. No, go on, go on.
would this liaison be responsible for voicing the opinions or the grievances of the kin, or would he take a more active role in trying to organize them?
Both.
Hmm. Well, you may, or such a liaison may have difficulty in having a very, very strict order, but a very, very loose, a very, very informal telephone line. I don't think anybody would object to.
One of the other things is that if that were to be a model in this sept, then it could be modeled off to and brought to other septs. And although this sept has excellent kinfolk relations, with only a few things here or there that could be done differently, there are other septs where kinfolk relations aren't so good. And then there are some septs where kinfolk are slaves, and that needs to stop. And if the kinfolk could band together and say, okay, this sept is treating their kinfolk like slaves, let's go down there and directly deal with their kinfolk. Look, your sept you can be for instance, my mother, you can be a elder Arun of the people, but if your kinfolk decide to boycott you and they're not doing anything for you, they're not breeding, they're not eating, they're not changing your fucking sheets, and the help decides to stop, yeah, I'm sorry, people will take notice. And that's something that kinfolk feel that they should be able to do. At the same time, Garu should feel that if kinfolk are abusing their knowledge of the nation, for instance, or if they're a threat, for instance, the big one, and you know who I'm talking about. The
Please don't
kinfolk
talk
that,
about him.
exactly. If the kinfolk were if they felt less powerless, then there wouldn't have been kinfolk who did that. Because that's what it came from.
I do not care where it came from. Please do not speak of him. Please. And he's looking at you like pleadingly. Just drop it.
He'll nod. Of
Thank you.
course. But I plan on bringing that to the elders and talking to them about it and seeing if that's something that can be organized and if I can help to find somebody to fill the role and to just see what can be done with it.
Hmm. Interesting. Do you feel like doing me another favor? Another good turn? You've already done so much tonight. I mean, I'm gonna enjoy this. What the hell is this again?
Chicken sete?
Yeah, I'm gonna be enjoying this chicken sede for a while now. Says as he's starting to dig in. But do you mind doing me another good turn?
Sure.
All right, fair enough, fair enough. I will be going
Okay.
to the kinfolk that I know of, such as Leah, such as yourself, such as Dr. Mega. I do not know whether or not I will have the chance to speak to Bettina, but I will be going to other kinfolk as well. Could you relay the message, not threatening me, just a simple request to speak? The talks will be anonymous. Nobody needs to know who says what. I just need a general idea about the census of the kinfolk in this set.
So you want me
Spread the
to
message.
collect that information from you, or get it from? Oh, spread the message. Okay, got it. That the kinfolk need to come to you to let them know what they think about the sim.
Yes, I will be actively walking out there and gathering that information, but should they want to come to me on their own, then should they wish to remain anonymous, that is something I can do.
He'll think, and he'll nod. I can help you with that, of course.
Hmm.
If you like, I can help collect the information for you.
I would greatly appreciate that as well.
All right, I'll work on it.
Uh, Another question put forth to you.
Uh-huh.
I know that I.
You were born at the cusp of your moon, weren't you?
What does that mean? I'm sorry.
You were born at the cusp between Ragabash and Theurge, weren't you?
I didn't even realize there was such a cuss.
When the thinnest sliver of silver were in the sky, I think you came into this world. Or if you wanted to, you could easily step back and have been a Ragabash. But you're a Theurge. This is your path.
I am not a Theurge. I
Oh,
speak like
you're
a
not.
Theurge, but I'm a
You're not a
Galliard.
Theurge. You're a Galliard. Oh my! I thought you were a Theurge. Somebody told me you were a Theurge, actually. But you're a
Uh,
Galliard.
Apparently Contemplates the Mercy also made that mistake.
Hmm. Interesting. Yeah, you strike me
May
as a Ragabash, actually.
Maybe I should actually take up some Theurge skills while I'm at it. I seem to be quite good at it.
That is true.
But in any case, is how is Xavier? I have not had the chance to speak with him after that incident, and I don't have many chances to speak with him after he went through his rite of passage.
Word of advice, in my opinion,
Hmm.
you want to do yourself and him a favor?
Hmm.
Form the right contrition.
Hmm. I
It'll
may
look good on
say,
you. It'll look good on you. It's you get honor from it. Honestly, you'd get something from it. And with his mindset, with his with the way his mind works, with where he is, and it would look good on you. It would look good on the Sept. It would look good to him. That would be my recommendation. Performing the rite of contrition. Anything less, and I think you might have an upward battle with him because you did offend him fairly badly. Again, he frenzied on Travis and did more harm to him than the Storm Eater did.
hmm,
Bear that in mind.
fair enough, fair enough.
I don't want to be part of that race.
Xavier's opinion matters a great deal to me, actually. He was one of the cubs that I went ahead and fostered for a little bit until he eventually, I think I passed his rights.
Do you know what Amara said to me involving Xavier? And I think that she was dead
Please,
on
please,
point.
please, please, please do not tell me that Mara was exposed to that.
Exposed to what?
Exposed to my harsh words.
She has very, very sharp ears.
There's not much I can do about that.
I talked to her, and actually, she was the one who was basically like, "Well, that was unwise." But she's. Let's hope she didn't tell her father, or I don't think she did. He wouldn't harm you. He wouldn't hurt you. He would just decide you're his new best friend. But that being said, I had a point and I've forgotten it now. What was it? Oh, Xavier. I am. Amara expressed to me one time. She was talking about it in front of me. So I kind of, although the boy is without a doubt from Strider blood, he would have made a damn good Shadow Lord.
Shadow Lord? Is that the word you meant to use? I'm waiting OOC.
Shadow Lord.
Okay,
Big
fair
old
enough.
Shadow Lord.
You get this very, very confused look from Alan. What?
Yes, Shadow Lord.
Fair enough, fair enough.
Think about it.
I will say this much. There was a point in the conversation between you and I back in Leah's apartment, actually. where I was very, very concerned that Xavier would never, ever get out of the funk that he was in. That I might have to call, I don't know, wise men, actually, to come and break him up. Did I lose you? Is the question. Hi, did I lose you? I think I may have lost you. Damn it! Alright, it seems as if we have some technical difficulties. Um, at the moment, we have the player Val having some technical difficulties, and the only thing I can do for you, kind people, at the moment is to try to entertain you with this little intermission. Technical difficulties. Do 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 do. We has them. Na 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 na. We're working on getting a connection back to track. Na 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 na. Usually that works. Usually that does work. It only takes one iteration of the song, actually. Christy, how you enjoying the scene? Motherfucker. Hello, hello. Hello, hello.
But if I can wait
Hi.
for a Shadow Lord.
Hi. What was the last thing you heard from me?
Hi.
Hi, we can
The
hear
last thing
each
I heard from
other.
you was yay. Okay. I was just assuming Xavier or Val had to go to the bathroom for a sec.
Fair enough. I sung the technical difficulty song, but I'll go ahead and pick it up. There was a point between a conversation between you and I and Val's. Leah. There you go, Leah. That's the name I need. Leah's apartment, actually.
Hmm.
Um, where I was actually very, very concerned about Xavier's condition. He did not respond to anything. I mean, I went ahead and did the flashlight thing. I went ahead and pinpricked him a little bit, pinched him. No response. No response whatsoever. If the room was cold, there was no response. I saw the goosebumps raise on his hand, but I didn't see any recognition that he was in any sort of pain. Um, the only thing that he actually responded to was your little one. That brightened
My
his
cousin?
face. Yes, your cousin. He brightened up. He actually responded. It was very minute, very subtle. But I knew that such a thing that small, very little, very, very subtle smile was a blessing from Gaia. I knew it. I knew it. And I was not one, and I did not want to be the obstacle to that. Hmm.
What is going on? It's like crazy in there.
We're actually having some tech issues. She keeps dropping.
So did you. You left and came back too once.
Yep, that is true.
Then you're lucky that I was still in here, because otherwise you might have lost this whole thing at one point.
We might have. We might have. Johnny!
Go on mute again.
No, don't leave me! No!
Really?
It's so cold here alone. There's no one here to guide me. But you gotta have friends.
This is gonna be one of those scenes that like half of it's gonna just be people going in and out and random people talking.
It very well could be that. Oh.
No, were you like looking for me or something? Is that why you were?
Mostly, I was concerned that I had lost my own connection.
Oh. Well,
we still happen to be live, but we got nothing. Yep, there she goes again.
Yeah, I caught that.
I was about to give my monologue about love.
Oh, good. Because I haven't heard enough about love already in the previous scene I did. Seriously, the whole changeling view on what's going on with the Tribetan Bettina thing is the man's in love, let him have her.
Yeah.
So we're sitting over there playing out the love is the end all be all of everything. And yeah. So I've heard enough love stuff today.
Let him have her.
I don't get to decide that, my good sir.
He says he doesn't get to decide that, good sir.
This,
Out of character,
You're an admin.
They reset our browser, so.
Alright, cool.
Or they reset
Awesome.
our internet. So it shouldn't be a problem now. You were talking about Amara? No.
Okay.
Go on.
What was the last just word you heard?
Enter the love monologue.
Fine. Alan goes ahead and straightens himself out after coughing a little bit of chicken down his throat. He says, I noticed that Amara was the only thing to actually connect with him in that state. And that's part of the reason you left with him. I did not want to be an obstacle to something that was growing right in front of me.
Amara and he have a very special bond. The next morning, she came up to me and she said, cousin. And I said, what? And she said, I feel like I already know him. And I just laughed her off and I said, you're young, he's handsome, you're beautiful. And
They're
she said,
both
no,
young.
cousin, yeah. But, she said, no, cousin, I feel like it's not sexual or chemical or, she touched her chest and she said, I feel like I know him here. And I said, yeah, I blew her off. I was just like, you're 19, of course you love him, obviously. You're going to tell me you met your husband and blah, blah, blah. Again, I am the last person who ever needs to say this, seeing that I asked my fiance to marry me within 10 minutes of meeting her and actually got engaged to her like 4 days later. With that being said,
Yeah.
but I started watching them together. The tenderness they show each other, and the respect, and the amount of synchronicity between them. The amount of they match their clothing. Like, I don't even think they're doing it on purpose. Like, I saw him go down one time and say he was going to get ready to go somewhere, and he got dressed. And Amara had already been in the bathroom. And, like, she went and she got dressed as well, and they really looked like they had planned their outfit, but they hadn't. We had just gotten home, he and I. And they just have this bond that goes beyond. To be honest, sometimes I'm a little envious of.
Do me a favor.
But what?
Watch over that for me. I want to see how that grows.
Their bond?
Them.
I think that yeah. I think that I think barring anything happening to either one of them, that they're going to be together for quite some time. Have the kind of love that her parents had. Bright Eyes and Athena, my Thea. Oh my God, they are so deeply in love with each other. And it's not. I grow tired of modern love. I grow tired of this junk food love I see so much nowadays. It's like there's so much sex and there's so much of quick instant gratification. There's almost no mind paid to the future or what's going to, I mean, I know I've had my throw arounds. Up until Callie, I really hadn't even been like in a very serious relationship. Just had fun. But I've noticed that the world has just become this almost, it's like junk food, and people are trying to sustain themselves on it. They're trying to, they wonder where love has gone and where, what's happened to the love and all this, and they don't realize that they're pouring all of their heart and their emotion into souls into people that they're attracted to physically, but not mentally or emotionally, and there's no more consummate love. People forget this word consummate. They hear the word consummate and they automatically think sex. You consummate the relationship, sex. And they forget that what that form of love is it's the full love. It's the heart, it's the mind, it's the body, it's the soul. And it's the kind where you can meet someone and feel that draw and that passion, and also think of the future and where you two want to be together in the future, and understand that the person that you've met and that you're marrying, or that you're with right now, is not the same person you're going to be married to in 5 years. And if you have trouble and it bends, you can't let it break. And that's how I feel about Callie. I feel that although she and I haven't been together that long, that without her leaving me, or without, barring something mighty catastrophic, you work on your relationship. You understand that when you...
Yeah. She came very, very close. But...
What?
I believe she made it out of the Storm Eater battle with help from one of the Striders, actually.
Yes. Okay. Whew.
It seems like ancient history now, but...
I love her, but there's more to it than just love. I'm attracted to her physically. That's fine. That's not... but I'm attracted to her mentally, and to her spirit, and to the kind of person she is. When I look into her eyes, I respect her, you know? And I see that with Xavier and Amara. I see they're two souls that I feel are in sync with one another. And what they have is very beautiful. And I'd give my life to protect that, especially because it's Xavier. I have my own love for him. I respect him very much, and I never cease to find myself amazed at his tenacity and his intelligence, his inquisitiveness, and his ability to utterly and completely rip apart reason and the the status quo and be such a little rebel sometimes. And just effortlessly. And then he just brings it all back together. He's like that's why I said he reminded me of a Shadow Lord. Because he's like a storm. But my family means a lot to me. And it's why I chose to sit down with you instead of quarreling with you. Because I consider you family. And families talk when things are breaking. And I didn't want you to feel that we couldn't talk. Or that I was just going to... Yes, when I was angry, I said some things I shouldn't have said. But, Alan, I'm glad that we handled this way instead of it being more dramatic or violent or whatever. You know what I mean?
Val, we are two adults talking about a simple grievance that, quite honestly, we are working on with this fantastic wine. What is this thing called?
That's sake, my dear friend.
This is why I shouldn't be chugging this down.
You know what? If you want, we can drag ourselves down the way, and you and I can get so backwards that we end up sprawled out on my couches at home. I'm fine with that. Not here. I have a reputation to keep here. But if you want.
Unfortunately, I will have to graciously say no thank you.
I'll have to too. Because if I spend another night out, my dear darling cousin there is going to come after me. Or she's going to send Xavier after me, actually. She did last night too.
Fair enough. Well, thank
Although
you for...
I have video of Contemplates the Mercy stripping.
I will have to ask for that at some point or another.
I'll text it to you.
In any case, I gotta get back to somebody. I sort of left her in the lurch.
Oh, you done pissed off a Greek girl. I'll leave you to handle that one.
And fair enough.
Buy flowers and apologize out the gate.
Yes. You'll have to excuse me, Alan says as he leaves his plate like half finished and his wine actually half drank. As he's just gonna go ahead and bid you a very, very fair night. He says again, and we will definitely need to talk about more of this kinfolk liaison business. I think this is a fantastic piece of business to work on.
So, with that, we can end our scene. Thank you for watching. Thank you for playing.
Just one thing. Just one thing.
Go on.
Because this is the thing that I usually tease Christy about constantly. As Alan goes ahead and leaves the restaurant and makes his way back to where he went ahead and left Leah, he goes ahead and sends a text message along the lines of, "Hey, do you want some M&Ms and Kit Kat bars? I feel like junk food."
Nice. With that, we can end our scene. Thank you, everybody, for watching, and have a wonderful night.